Hello and welcome to the Yarn Ambassador podcast. My name is Charlie. You can find me on here as Yarn Ambassador, but on Instagram you can find me as Yarn Ambassador, Charlie Button Yarns, and also as Cranky Lady, which is my circular sock machine and the stories thereof. Thank you very much for joining me this week. I hope you're all doing well. We're in the middle of March. How on earth did that happen? And apparently it's going to be the wettest March ever or something, and it has been truly wet. Yesterday I was lucky enough to get out for a walk, but got thoroughly soaked with hail and rain as we went. But it was nice to be outside. It's one of the things I love about the weekends, is being able to get outside for a good long period of time and go walking on the fells near me in Lancashire in the UK. So firstly, I wanted to start off by saying a massive thank you to everybody who bought a yarn advent, a Charlie Button yarn advent. They went on sale on Friday, and all the 10 gram options have gone. I believe there are still a few of the 5 gram options. I did 2 options because I know yarn advents are really good fun, but they can sometimes be super pricey, so I tried to make a slightly more accessible version as well. So if you're interested, then there might still be a few left on the Yarn and Yarns website. I'll leave a link below. So thank you very much for that. I haven't done a huge amount of knitting this week. I've been doing other things. I've been doing a bit of drawing, a bit of sketching and painting. I'm not terribly good at it, but sometimes I just feel that way inclined, so I've been doing a bit of that this week, and that's been really nice and good fun, a kind of a slightly different outlet for my creativity. In terms of knitting, it's been very sock focused, so I have finished my rag socks. So this was a kit I got from Estelle at Midwinter Yarns, and I think I spoke about them and they're now finished. So these are kind of traditional Swedish house socks. They tend to be worn in the house. They don't wear outdoor shoes really inside. So they'll have a pile of these socks at the door and guests can put them on, or you slip them on when you come in from outside. So these are lovely. They're this beautiful marled yarn. I think it's got some nylon in it. It's actually a green, although in my cottage it looks a bit bluer, but this is the green colourway. And it's DK weight, they're knitted on 4mm, so they make for a very sturdy, cosy sock. So I've been enjoying having those on as I put my feet up on the sofa. I sent a kit to Jeanette, so and she, I think, probably has smaller feet than me, so she had some left over, and so I'm going to send her my leftovers as well, so she can make a second pair. So those are from Estelle at Midwinter Yarns. I've also been cranking some tubes. For those of you who don't know, I have a circular sock machine, who I have lovingly called Cranky Lady, because she's an antique. She must be over 100 years old, and sometimes she will just not play ball, which is fine, but we seem to be getting on a bit better these days. So I've been cranking tubes for various people and things. The first is socks for the West Midlands ambulance service. Jeanette, who I've just mentioned, I'm sending her the rag sock leftovers, has kind of set herself a challenge to knit a pair of hand knit socks for all of the people who work at the West Midlands ambulance service, which is where her daughter is a paramedic in training, I think. Turns out there are quite a lot of them, over 400. So given I've got a circular sock machine, I said I would help by cranking some tubes, which I have been doing. I sent a massive wheel of tubes to Ange at Yarn and Yarns. Some lovely, very generous viewers of her podcast donated skeins, and so Ange sent them up to me. I've turned them into tubes, and I'm sending them back down to Ange to pop heels, toes and cuffs in. So I've done some of those. I've also cranked some from stash that I have. So I also cranked some tubes for Jeanette from my stash as well. So I'm going to send those direct to Jeanette. This lovely vibrant pinky colour. I think you've probably seen this one before. This is the Osterman Step, which is a lovely peachy, pinky browny colourway. And I actually finished some socks for her as well, so I'm putting some heels, toes and cuffs in as well to kind of help with the effort. So here are my finished socks. So again, these are the Osterman Step, which I've spoken about a couple of times. So those are quite nice big ones for some big feet, big ambulance service feet. So yeah, it's been very sock tube oriented this week, which has been fine. I haven't had that much knitting focus time really, so that's been ideal. Also, I had some interest earlier in the year in pre-cranked tubes for sale, and I actually bought some cones from Active, a German company, and they do sock yarn in some wonderful, beautiful colours. So I bought some cones, and so I've actually done a couple of tubes that I'm going to post for sale. The first is this beautiful colourway. I believe this is called Jacaranda, and that's quite a nice long tube there, plenty big enough for a sock. Also, I did a kind of a rainbowy one. This is, I was trying to get the pattern repeats to match up because I'm quite matchy when it comes to my socks. So I didn't want to make a tube that kind of started and finished on odd repeats, if you know what I mean. So it starts with this kind of yellowy, and that's one full repeat. And so I put in 4 of those, so there would be enough for 2 socks, but that's probably for a smaller pair of feet. And then, and that colourway, that is called Sunset, I think. And then this lovely colourway, I think is called Fjord. And again, that's quite a nice long one. And again, can't remember if I tried to do it to the pattern repeat or not. That one's a bit busier, so it's not as obvious. So if you're interested in any of these pre-cranked tubes to make your own quick pair of socks out of, then do let me know. I'll be posting them on my Instagram probably later today, Sunday. I also have little packs of double-pointed needles. They're 3.25, which is what I find works best with the cranked socks that I make. So I'll post all the details of them on Instagram, or you can just get in touch with me here if you're interested in those. I have also cranked a 4th colourway, which was really nice, but as I was wrapping it up, I realised that somewhere along the line a stitch had been dropped. So I didn't want to sell that, so I thought, well, I'll take that and turn them into a pair of socks, probably for my mum, as a bit of a belated Mother's Day present. So that's where I've got to so far, and I bought a ton of solids from either Opal or West Yorkshire Spinners, because I realised there were going to be a lot of heels, toes and cuffs in my future, and I wanted to make sure that I had plenty of contrasting or complementary colours to be able to put those in on all the different patterns. So if you are interested in that colourway as well, getting a pre-cranked tube in that, then just let me know. I can always crank a tube out of that very easily for you. So yeah, I hit up Angie's website to get some solids. So this is a really nice rich brown. I'll insert a picture to show you what the others look like, but they work really well together, and actually Ange commented, you know, it would have made a really nice colour work project with them all together. So if there are any left over, I might have to snaffle that into a colour work project. The other thing I wanted to talk about today was fibre and spinning fibre. You can see I've got a couple of wheels in the background, an Ashford traditional, just quite a straightforward one, and another antique one which is a bit ropey. Doesn't always work. So I do most of my spinning on the Ashford traditional. And at the Knit Tea Retreat I was enabled and managed to get my hands on some lovely, lovely fibre from Jenny at Owl About Yarn, who is also part of the Knit Tea Retreat duo. She runs that along with her friend Zoe. And I was lucky enough at the October Knit Tea Retreat to scoop up a braid of the Turning Leaves colourway, which was the retreat colourway for that Cardiff retreat. And it was, you can see the greens, but there are actually also kind of, I'll see if I can pull out some from the middle, beautiful kind of reds and yellows. And I knitted up, I spun this and knitted up this Glenora hat. And you can see it's a really beautiful, vibrant green and yellows, really lovely and autumnal. And I paired that with some hand spun, which I dyed with some lichen. So I really very much like. So I knew I loved Jenny's fibre already. And at the Knit Tea Retreat, I won the raffle. I've been winning a lot of things recently. I feel like maybe my time's up for the winning things. I won a prize in the raffle, which was a voucher for Jenny's shop. Yes. So I went in and found some more beautiful fibre that I wanted to play with. And the first is this one. So this is the colourway Dystopia, and it's these dark, moody charcoals and flame reds and some purples, a really kind of powerful, nice, deep, rich colourway. And this is 100% Polworth. I don't know if I've actually spun with 100% Polworth before, but it feels absolutely gorgeous. So I'm really looking forward to that. And look! She sent this little, now, she's going to get me, can you see that little, it's not a gnome. I know for a fact it's not a gnome. I think it's called a Nissa, which is maybe some kind of Welsh gnome. Sorry, Jenny, I forgot. But he's so cute. So anyway, I wanted to show you that, but then he's going to go on my socks as a progress keeper. And then the other one I bought was this. Look at this, another, I quite like grungy, darker colours, and this is a magenta colourway, and this is grey merino with these beautiful burgundy, purpley bits to it, so I can't wait to get that one on the wheel as well. And also, if this were not enough, I think it was before Christmas, Jenny very kindly gifted me this bright beauty. And look, this is little Ollivander, who's her little logo buddy. Isn't he cool? So this is just gorgeous. And this one is called Le Parcours, which I think is a reference to the Tour de France. So I've got all these amazing braids to have a go at. I don't know which of these I'm kind of tempted to not cast this one on, spin this one on next. But at the moment I've already got some Jenny fibre on my wheel, which is a really beautiful blend of blue-faced Leicester and something called Sea Cell, which is a fibre that's generated, I think, out of seaweed and maybe eucalyptus, I think I read, but don't quote me on that. And I'll put in a little video here of it on the wheel, but it's beautifully spinning up, and the Sea Cell doesn't take the dye, so it kind of has this beautiful kind of ghostly thread that goes through it. It's really, really nice. So I know Jenny has got some BFL and C-cell fibre in her shop right now if you're interested in that. The other one I forgot to mention about this is a blend that Jenny had done specially, and this is BFL and rose fibre, which was amazing. That was a joy to spin as well. So Jenny's really kind of great at investigating and putting together different blends that you might not find elsewhere. So I thoroughly recommend, if you are a spinner or you're interested in spinning, having a look at what Jenny has to offer. She obviously also dyes yarn as well. That goes without saying. I've also been working this weekend to top up some of the stock in the Yarn and Yarns shop for Ange, so I'll be sending another box through the portal. We were talking about how useful it would be if we had a portal where we could just ping things back and forth, but we've only got the trusty Royal Mail. So Ange let me know that she was low on stock of some things, so I have pulled together and washed and prepped some more yarn to go into the shop, Charlie Button yarns to go into the shop. The first, which she had told me she was low on, is this Lancashire True Brew Vintage 2020. And this is a blend of all the fleeces that I worked with last year. So there'll be Texel in there, there'll be Jacob, there'll be a bit of Manx. So this is a kind of one-of-a-kind blend, and it makes this beautiful warm grey. And so these are 50-gram skeins, so you can find them there. Makes for a really nice background for colour work for hats or mitts. The other thing I'm pulling together are the Lancashire Winter Hat Kits. They are made up of 100% Jacob in the deep natural brown colour. It's quite heathered, as you can see, and that has a little 25 gram mini, I should say, that goes with it, and that makes up the Lancashire winter hat. But obviously you can use that for any kind of colour work project or any kind of accessories that you wanted to make out of that. So those are going to be going in the shop, as well as the beginner hand warmer kits. So if you know anybody who wants to start knitting, make sure they start with the good stuff. So there's a beginner knitting kit that I offer, which makes some hand warmers, and it comes with the needles, it comes with the pattern, it comes with the little finishing needle. So it's got everything you need to make a good crack at it. So I'm topping up the shop with them, and yeah, it's been a busy weekend. I'm dyeing up some more stuff for the yarn advents, so can kind of see an end on the horizon. So busy times, but thank you very much for joining me. I hope you're all well, and I hope to see you next week for some more news and